So for our life app this week, if you actually get to use this and work through this in your Connect groups, it'd be great to start off by just working through John chapter 14, verses 1 to 11. So read slowly through those verses. And it'd be great to start off by just trying to talk about the setting of this final address and ultimately what the disciples are thinking, because Jesus has done a few things. He's washed their feet. He said some pretty serious things as well. He said about how one of them will effectively betray him. He's made a point about how Peter was going to, deny him as well. I mean, Peter was effectively the main guy amongst the 12. And to just try and then see if you can work out how people are feeling, how the disciples are feeling at this time. And once you do that, just open the group up and just get people to share what they think the disciples are feeling. And then you also want to just consider the fact that Jesus speaks calm over all the troubled hearts. Jesus makes it very clear. He commands calm to the troubled heart, and he says, do not let your hearts be troubled. Interesting, Jesus says, do not let your hearts be troubled. Do you think sometimes you actively let your heart get troubled? Because presumably, do not let implies that you can let your heart be troubled. And so maybe again, just open that up. Can we actively choose not to let our hearts be troubled? I don't think it happens by magic. Jesus gives us an answer. Jesus says, trust in God, trust also in me. Spend some time just talking about the whole subject of trusting in God. What does that look like for you? What does that look like in the scriptures? Look at Bible characters like Abraham. I mean, trusting in God speaks of sometimes doing the long distance with God, where you come again and again and again. It's not just a one-day thing, it's a lifelong thing. When Jesus saved us, he called us to trust him. When he called those disciples, it was a call to come and then trust him. So consider the whole subject of trust and see what comes up. Then also, I would love it if you could just look at, again, just Jesus' promise of going to prepare a place for the disciples. The confidence with which Jesus says that. Does this give you hope about the fact that he goes to prepare a place for you and he would come back and get you? When Christ, who is your life, appears, well, you would appear with him. There's amazing promises in the scripture. So again, look at that and consider Jesus speaking about our eternal hope. Then I want you to just spend some time looking at the whole subject of what it means to know God. Jesus says, you know God. I did mention that for us believers, we have this testimony in our hearts that we know God. And this knowledge has affected us. It's so impacted us. Maybe open it up and talk about how knowledge of God has impacted your own life. And then finally, I want you to look at the whole subject of Jesus being the way, the truth, and the life. What does that mean? Remember, it was a promise from Jesus to his disciples. I am all you need. I am the way, the truth, and the life. If you've got me, you don't need any other roadmap. But again, open this up and see what comes up. God bless you richly and have a great time in your groups.